time and communism, that was ultimately taken away. And in many ways, kind of some dreams were taken away from your family. But you came back from that and realised, I guess it's a classic American story, you realised your dreams over here in the United States.
Well, actually, indeed, and but honestly, I have no idea as to why I became enamored with the sport at a very young age, because as a family, we didn't even have a car. You know, but it's something that just captured my imagination, and it was through the media, and of course, you know, we had to leave our home because that part of the country was occupied by Yugoslavia at the time, you know, which is the peninsula of Istria, and then we wound up in a refugee camp, and then when we came to the States, my twin brother and I started building the car 2 years after we arrived there, and we built a stock car to race locally, and we started racing in 1959. I was 19 years old. At that time, I was very young. Today, 19 years old, you're already world champion. How about that? But to be legal, you had to be 21 in those days. But we started at 19 years of age in 1959, and never looked back. But very fortunate, and again, I had never had a plan B, even as a youngster. No matter what obstacles, I just found a way, you know, to just pursue my dreams, and again, it's just I've been so very blessed.
See, most of the guys in the room here forged IDs to be able to go to a bar before they were 21. You did it to drive a car in a race. But Nico, let's touch on your start. And I think people might assume that because your father raced in Formula One that there's an easier time there. But I think I remember you saying to me a number of years ago that when you got to GP2, because it was so expensive, it was kind of make or break. It was, look, Nico, you got to do this because it's too expensive to do for too long.
That's the pity about our sport, really. It costs so much money for young guys to make it all the way to F1, where you then start earning money. You know, you need to pay like $4 million or $5 million to make your way through there, and it's very difficult to find. And I was lucky, of course, because with my name it helps, because sponsors are more interested, and so it was more easy to get the money together, and yeah, so I was fortunate in that sense.
I want to ask you a question, because we're here with UBS, we've been talking money quite a lot over the weekend, and contracts, and please don't talk about anything you're uncomfortable with, but contracts, you signed a new contract recently, and we hear in different sports, and there's people here involved in NFL and basketball. Did you turn up with Toto with 17 lawyers, all in black Hugo Boss suits, and hammer out the hardest deal possible, or is it more casual in Formula One? How does it work?
No, it's just me.
It's just you.
My own. So pretty simple, and I like to see it as a challenge for myself also. So I do the discussions myself and negotiations. I don't have a manager, just because I like to put myself, give myself those sort of challenges, and I always think, you know, I'm the best person to do it because I know what I want. So.
And Mercedes had 17 lawyers and Hugo Boss suits.
Yes, but I was not intimidated.
Fair play, right?
Let me just jump in for 1 second.
I'm going to jump into you actually, Mario.
Yeah, I have really a great appreciation for that, because here again, you know, we all have business managers and so on and so forth, but throughout my entire career, no one has ever dealt, you know, as far as a racing contract, but I always did it directly myself, so kudos to you, my friend.
The reason I was going to jump in on Mario is I want to ask you about one of your contracts. You'd not signed anything, but you'd shaken hands with Colin Chapman on a new 3-year deal with Lotus. You were approached, I believe, by Ferrari, and you said, look, I've already shaken hands. What happened from that point?
Well, again, we don't race for the money, obviously, but because we love it so much, but we want to be the highest paid, right? So, as you said, you're right. I did have a handshake in 1977 with Colin Chapman to continue with the Lotus team, and but as fate would have it, Mr. Ferrari just had tried. This is for the 3rd time to try to get me to drive a full-time Formula One with them, and I won the Italian Grand Prix at that point, and we had an appointment after the race to go and discuss the situation. And Colin Chapman said, Mario, don't go. because we already shook hands and said, well, you know, Colin, I have to see what, you know, what the possibilities are, you know, and so anyway, so I go and it comes down to, you know, okay, what are you going to pay me?
But we don't care about money. But how much are you going to pay?
Yeah. So Mr. Ferrari says, well, he says, honest to God, I'll say it like it is. He said, you know, he was a clever man. He says, Mario said, I can't put a price on your talent, you have to tell me. So he threw it back at me. So I knew what Colin Chapman was going to pay me, so I doubled it. And I tell you what, and he says, right. He says, okay. So I said, oh, now what do I do? So, unbeknownst to me, he said, well, I said, you realize, I said, that I have to unravel this thing because, you know, I had a handshake. He said, well, that's what we have lawyers for and all that. So I go back to the States, and the next day I get a call from Mr. Ferrari. He says, Mario, I think you better let it go. He said, because so and so. What I didn't know is that Mr. Chapman followed me. That he raised holy heck, you know, with Mr. Ferrari. So Mr. Ferrari said, you better let it go. So I told Colin, I said, you don't want an unhappy driver. And so he had to come up with the money, believe it or not, and he did. You know, so, and then we won the World Championship the following year, so everything fell in place.
Good negotiator, Mario.
Yeah, great sponsor. Someone like the UPS would have been, you know, to fill the gap, so everything worked out.
I'm going to call you for my next